Hey there, folks. Before we dive in, make sure to follow SkyAlert USA so you don't miss out on this video and all the wild weather coverage we've got coming your way. And, don't forget to support us by subscribing, liking, and dropping a comment below. It really helps us out. Welcome back to SkyAlert USA, your #1 source for the most powerful, most dangerous, and most dramatic weather events unfolding across North America. I'm your host, and right now, on this Friday, March 6th, 2026, the atmosphere is absolutely loaded and ready to explode. Today is not a normal weather day. Today could go down in the history books as the first major severe weather outbreak of the 2026 season, and we are tracking every single angle of it, live and in real time. Stay with me, because the next few minutes could be critical for your safety or for someone you know. Let's start with the headline event. Right now, on Friday, March 6th, 2026, more than 58 million people from San Antonio, Texas, all the way up through Green Bay, Wisconsin, are bracing for a threat of significant severe weather. That is not a minor weather alert. That is more than half the population of a major country directly in the crosshairs of what meteorologists are calling a classic early-season plains outbreak pattern. The Storm Prediction Center has outlined an enhanced risk. That is a level 3 out of 5 on the severe weather outlook scale for central Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, and western Missouri. This zone includes major population centers such as Oklahoma City, Wichita, and Kansas City. An enhanced risk is serious business. It means forecasters are expecting numerous severe storms, not just one or two isolated cells, and a high likelihood that these storms will produce multiple catastrophic hazards simultaneously. More than 6 million Americans face the highest risk on Friday, concentrated in an area that includes the metropolitan zones of Kansas City and Tulsa, Oklahoma. Think about that number for a second. 6 million people in the absolute bullseye. 6 million people who need to be watching the sky, who need to have their weather apps updated, their storm shelters identified, and their emergency kits ready. A focus 30% severe weather risk is centered from central and eastern Oklahoma northward through eastern Kansas into far southeast Nebraska and western Iowa, while a broader 15% risk area stretches from North Texas through much of Oklahoma and Kansas into Missouri, Iowa, southern Minnesota, Wisconsin, and western Illinois, putting parts of the Midwest, including areas not far from Chicago, on alert. Now, let's break down exactly what this system is capable of, because the threat today is not just a little thunderstorm. This is a multi-hazard event, and every single one of those hazards is capable of causing serious damage and loss of life. First, tornadoes. Forecasters are predicting the possibility of strong tornadoes, EF2 or EF3 on the enhanced Fujita scale, with wind speeds potentially ranging from 111 to 165 miles per hour. Those are not weak, brief spin-ups. EF2 and EF3 tornadoes rip roofs off homes, destroy vehicles, uproot trees, and can level entire neighborhoods if they track over developed areas. There is a spatio-temporal window for a strong EF2 plus tornado, with the greatest potential concentrated across eastern portions of Oklahoma and Kansas and western portions of Arkansas and Missouri. Second, hail. Damaging hail with a diameter of 2 to 3 inches is expected. To put that in perspective, a quarter has a diameter of about 1 inch. We are talking about hailstones the size of baseballs slamming into vehicles, crops, rooftops, and anything left outdoors. This is the kind of hail that can total a car in seconds. Third, damaging winds. Destructive winds exceeding 74 miles per hour are possible with both discrete supercells and any developing storm clusters. Straight-line wind damage can mirror tornado destruction. Power lines will come down, trees will be snapped, structures will be compromised. Fourth, flash flooding. Heavy rain may lead to flash flooding, a sudden, violent flood that happens shortly after intense rainfall, especially in areas from Missouri to Ohio. The ground across the heartland is already saturated from earlier rounds of precipitation this week, meaning water has nowhere to go. Even moderate rainfall could trigger flood emergencies in low-lying areas, creek valleys, and urban drainage zones. For those of you who want to understand the science behind what's driving this explosive atmospheric setup, well, here's what's happening at the atmospheric scale. A broad upper trough over the west is splitting into two distinct impulses. The leading shortwave trough is ejecting from the Four Corners region across the central Great Plains toward the upper Mississippi Valley, while a backside cutoff low is evolving southward over the lower Colorado Valley. This dynamic upper-level pattern is, the ignition switch for today's events. At the surface, Lee cyclogenesis is occurring across eastern Colorado, which is promoting continued northward transport of low-level moisture from across Texas into Oklahoma and Kansas. That Gulf moisture, warm, humid, unstable air, is being dragged north like fuel into a furnace. Meanwhile, cold, dry air from the northwest is pushing in behind a sharp dry line boundary. The increasing low-level shear through the evening will foster enlarged low-level hodographs and increasing tornado potential, with convection expected to grow upscale into a small but potentially intense cluster as it moves northeastward into western and northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. March is historically a volatile month for tornadoes in the United States. The combination of warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico and cold, dry air from Canada creates an ideal environment for severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. This pattern is consistent with past outbreaks that have caused significant damage and loss of life. In other words, every ingredient that a violent, severe weather outbreak needs is in place right now. The atmosphere is primed. The only question is how organized the storms become. Now let's shift our cameras north of the border, because Canada is not immune to the dramatic weather patterns unfolding across North America this week. An Arctic Clipper storm system, fueled by a fresh surge of Arctic air mass diving south from Canada into the United States, is forming in the lee of the Canadian Rockies and will quickly move across the northern United States toward the east. These Alberta Clipper systems are fast-moving and efficient at spreading disruption. They're associated with cold, dry, continental air masses and generate small-scale, short-lived weather events, typically producing 3 to 6 inches of snow in a 3 to 6 hour period. Short duration, but enough to make roads dangerous and disrupt travel across entire provinces. For southern Ontario, Quebec, and the Prairie provinces, the story right now is the lingering influence of Arctic air funneling down from the polar vortex. Above-average temperatures are forecast for the eastern United States by March 6th to 12th. But a weather pattern boogeyman may still be lurking, with meteorologists warning that the polar vortex has not completely lost its grip on the region. Over Canada, the northern United States and the Midwest, forecasters are seeing more precipitation than normal for the 2026 spring season. The combination of spring cold and increased precipitation will also impact the early season snowfall potential. All right, let's look ahead. Here is your SkyAlert USA 3-day breakdown for this weekend and into early next week. Saturday, March 7th. The severe weather threat moves east on Saturday, impacting the south-central United States and toward the eastern Great Lakes. Severe weather on Saturday should mainly feature severe wind gusts and large hail. This threat area extends into the Appalachians from eastern Kentucky, western West Virginia, and up toward Pittsburgh and Buffalo. If you're in these areas, Saturday is not the day to be driving through mountain passes or parking under trees. Damaging winds and power outages are real possibilities. The tornado threat diminishes compared to Friday, but is not zero. Sunday, March 8th. From Sunday through Tuesday, a fast-moving Alberta Clipper winter storm will race from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic, travelling along the southward surging, frigid Arctic cold pool beneath the southern lobe of the polar vortex aloft. Travel disruptions are expected across the I-80 and I-90 corridors. Snowfall accumulations from the Clipper will generally be modest, but what follows the Clipper is the real story. Monday, March 9th. The new Arctic cold pool will bring a particularly cold start to the week, with Monday lows in the 20s across the Midwest to the Ohio Valley, with mid-teens across the Great Lakes and the northeast United States. After the dramatic severe weather outbreak of Friday and Saturday, a sharp, cold snap slams the door shut as winter delivers one final punch. Frost, ice and near-record cold wind chills will be a real hazard, especially for anyone who may have sustained property damage from Friday's storms and is dealing with aftermath conditions. Looking further ahead, meteorologists indicate that the warmth could be replaced later in the month by more cold, with a polar vortex split event potentially impacting the eastern United States in late March or early April. There is also a watch for a potential late winter storm, anywhere from the upper Midwest to the interior Northeast. The spring 2026 season is marked by a rapidly collapsing La Niña, with a low-pressure zone over Canada expected to keep the colder air mass within close reach of the United States. Spring is not here to stay just yet, folks. This section of the video could save your life. Please do not skip past it. If you are in the enhanced risk zone, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, here is what you need to do right now before storms develop this afternoon. Number 1. Identify your shelter location. The absolute safest place during a tornado is underground. If you have a basement or storm shelter, know how to get there fast and make sure it is clear of clutter. If you do not have a basement, get to the lowest ground level floor, in the center of the building, away from all windows and outside walls. An interior closet or bathroom is a good option. Number 2. Never shelter in your vehicle from a tornado. If you are driving and a tornado is approaching, find the closest business or home to take shelter in. Never park under an overpass. Winds can be funneled and made stronger, increasing your risk from flying debris. Number 3. Have multiple ways to receive warnings. Your cell phone will receive wireless emergency alerts automatically, but the most reliable tool is a dedicated NOAA weather radio, programmed to your specific county. It will wake you up in the middle of the night if a tornado warning is issued. Number 4. If you live in a mobile home, get out now. Mobile homes offer virtually no protection from even a weak tornado. Have a pre-arranged plan to go to a nearby sturdy building. Number 5. Stay informed. Emergency managers across Oklahoma and Kansas are already pushing out safety tips and activating their social media channels. Follow your local National Weather Service office, your local TV meteorologists, and of course, stay tuned right here to SkyAlert USA for continuous updates. What is happening across the United States and Canada this week is a powerful reminder that weather does not wait, does not negotiate, and does not give second chances. From the historic severe weather outbreak slamming the plains today, to the Arctic Clipper bearing down on the Midwest and Mid-Atlantic this weekend, to the polar vortex threatening to reclaim its grip on the continent later this month. This is one of the most dynamic and dangerous weeks of weather we've seen in the early 2026 season. We will be tracking every tornado warning, every severe thunderstorm, every flash flood emergency as it unfolds. If this video was useful to you, please hit that like button right now. It helps us reach more people who need this information. Subscribe to SkyAlert USA and ring that notification bell so you never miss a critical alert. Share this video with your family and friends in the affected areas. Their safety might depend on it. Stay weather aware, stay prepared, and stay safe out there. This is SkyAlert USA, signing off for now, but never